Hi, my name is Marek Piotr Wójcicki. Welcome to my podcast Ludzie są ciekawi. This title has a double meaning in Polish. It means either that people are interesting or that they are curious. This podcast is for both. Today I have a very special episode in English for you. This episode is special also because I publish it on Tuesday, not on Friday. This way, I fulfill the request of my English-speaking friends who also wanted to listen to the podcast. I'm also pleased to inform you that now you can support me on the Patronite platform. Details on how to do that you can find in the description of this episode on YouTube and on our fan pages on Facebook and Instagram. I will be glad if you would like to support me and give me the opportunity to develop. The guest of today's episode is Patricia, whom I met on Barbados, a paradise island popular among British and Canadians but not often visited by Poles. And the first question to Pat will be what it's like to live on a paradise island. Hi Patricia, how are you today?
I'm good, and you?
I'm alright. We are sitting at your bar. Just we had breakfast, which was delicious as always. So tell me, Patricia, what it's like to live on a paradise island.
Like paradise, it is. I grew up here all my life, so I don't understand what it is to say it is paradise. But everyone seems to think that it is paradise, which is true. So that's why, as you can say, it's called paradise.
I think that people in Europe consider such islands like Barbados as paradise islands. That's why they come in here for vacation, for holiday.
Yes, that's true. And plus, Barbadians are very friendly people, so they tend to enjoy the lifestyle because it's more relaxed. You don't have anyone to bother you. You can go around the country as if you lived there all your life. So that's one of the good perks of being in paradise. No one to bother you.
We are sitting at your bar. How long have you been running your business?
Well, I have been running it for a good few years now, about 10 years, but not in this particular setting. Now, this setting is just coming out of COVID, so we are now trying to see what things can be done to make it better going forward. So this is the first challenge in new what do we call it, emerges. So that's what we are doing now.
Is it busy place?
It's busy, yes, sometimes, especially with the visitors, because the visitors come and they tend to like the setting because it's quiet and off the beaten path and stuff like that.
You're a very good cook.
Thank you.
So the question is, who was your teacher?
I think I taught myself, but I have a good few friends that helped me along the way as well. So I have a friend that he's not even from Barbados. He lives in New York, and he has a restaurant there. And I spent a lot of time at the restaurant, and it taught me a lot of different little knick-knack things about how to prepare stuff and stuff like that. There's a Barbadian restaurant called Peppers, so they help teach me a lot of new tricks in how to do different little things for food, and along with my own take on it, it worked.
Was your mother or grandmother a good cook?
My grandmother was a very good cook. I learned a lot from her, but I learned the hard way. In those days, you had to learn how to do things, and sometimes you have to do it by yourself. So I was famous for doing food with curry, and that they used to tease me a lot about the food with curry. So I decided, no, I'm not going to cook with any curry. I'm going to try cooking with anything else but curry. So that's how I started trying to do different kinds of food that come out tasting very well without the curry. So that's how I really learned. But my grandmother, she was really good at cooking.
Okay, now you are mother and grandmother.
Yes, and I don't really teach anybody anything as yet.
How many children you have?
I have 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl.
What are their names?
It's Jason, Javar, and Jana.
They live with you?
No, Jason just left to go to England for vacation. Javar lives in Canada, and Jana is living here with me.
What do you do?
My son, he's a chef. My other son, he works in shipping. And my daughter, she's still going to school, law and sociology, she's studying.
You are proud of them?
I'm very proud of them.
How about your grandchildren?
Well, I have 2 grandkids, Amari and Orchid. Amari, he's just went into secondary school, and Orchid, she's now in primary school.
Your children are grown up, so what are your plans for next months, next few years?
Well, my plans is to travel, to make sure that I spend some time with my other son that live overseas. Hopefully, maybe find a husband. I don't know if that's in the cards, but...
Because you are single now.
Yes. But other than that, I try to improve on the business and make sure that it is going as smooth as possible. And that will be it.
Your husband should be like... The man should be like... Nice, loving, charming...
All the things that you could think that a man should be and more. That's much as I can say, but I just want somebody that for sure is friendly, that we can get along, we can travel a lot together and do the right thing and make sure that the business is going to be a success as well.
I've noticed that people on Barbados are very friendly. You mentioned it.
Yes, they are very friendly, and you can have an off and on one that is not so friendly, but it is not friendly in a bad, not being friendly in a bad way. The way to speak, it tends to seem as though that they're being angry, but it's just that you talk too fast, so you don't understand the language, and then people think that you're being rude, but it's not that way.
You live in a small community here. Do you support each other?
Yes, we do support each other.
How does it look like? What you do?
I don't know what we do, but I tend to, if I see anything going wrong, I try to speak up about it, even though it gets me into trouble sometimes, because I was saying that I was putting myself into harm's way to go to help somebody else. But I personally think that you need to help someone else because you don't know when you're going to need that help. And I try to help anyone as much as I can.
Did you get help during the COVID time, which was, I guess, a tough time for you?
Yes, we got a lot of help. We got help during the COVID time, especially with the government. The government did help with different aids when they can, or when it was supposed to be given out. We did get help.
Are people living in Barbados rather rich or poor?
I don't think they are rich, but the cost of living is very high here, and we still tend to get through. So in another sense, we probably are rich and not know it.
I can, as a tourist, say, tourists from Eastern Europe, that Barbados are quite expensive. I mean, the prices are quite high comparing to these that we have in Poland, for example.
Yes, it is. The prices are very high, and we're trying to control that now. I don't know when it will level off, but we're trying to see if we can control the prices as much as we can. But with where the things are going in across the world, this is why we tend to have more problems in terms of the prices. Because we don't have a lot of resources, so we depend on resources from overseas in terms of helping with our economy. So we'll see what happens in the future. But for now, things are expensive, but you can live.
Who's the most famous Barbadian?
I don't know. Right now, it's supposed to be Rihanna.
I thought that you would say. I thought that you would say Rihanna.
Yeah, she's the most famous Barbadian that I can think of. So I don't know what anymore The second one is saying it's supposed to be our Prime Minister, which is Mia Motley, but she's doing a good job as well.
Is she kind of ambassador?
The Prime Minister.
I mean Rihanna in the world. I mean that she promotes Barbados.
Yes, she is a very good ambassador for Barbados because she never forgets Barbados, and she always includes Barbados in whatever she does, and that's a good thing because you don't want to forget your roots, and she shows her roots in everything that she does, which is good.
Where she was born?
St. Michael, not far from Kensington Oval.
It is near to your capital, Bridgetown.
Yes.
Do you know her family, or maybe her friends, or maybe just her?
I know her, but she doesn't know me because she used to be in this particular gap that we live in by some other friends of ours that live in the gap. And I know her mother from seeing her from time to time in the boutique.
Does she visit Barbados often?
Yes, as much as she can, she would come to Barbados, especially for our festival, the Crop Over Festival. She's always here for that.
And she has a big house near to the sea, the holiday house.
Yes, she does.
How does it look like?
Well, it's in a part of a hotel, so it looks like a hotel, but it is a nice place.
And you have something from Rihanna's house in your kitchen. What is it?
It's a cupboard or cabinet that they had. So when her mother was leaving to go into the house that Rihanna had bought for her, she was getting rid of some of the stuff. And she gave it to a friend of hers, and then the friend of hers gave it to me because he didn't need it anymore. So I think, I prefer to hold on it as a souvenir. So right now it's in my kitchen, so that's it.
And you like such a things?
I like things like this, yes, because you never know. It could be worth something later on, but I am not holding on to it to worth anything. It's just the thought of having something that was in her house that I have in my house now.
If someone asked you to sell it, would you?
I don't know. If they want it, sure, but I can't see it being sold as is yet. But if somebody wants it, sure.
It could be very expensive, I suppose.
Well, we will see how expensive it would be because it would need a little refurbishing. So that's why I'm trying to do with it right now, just to make sure that it keeps in good shape.
Which part of the island is the most beautiful in your opinion?
Bass Rock, which is my area Prospect. And which other place?
I really like your East Coast. It's a bit wilder than the West Coast, for example.
Yes, and they are about to fix that and to make that a more tourist attraction area as well, because they're going to build a boardwalk along the whole coastline, so that would be nice.
The most beautiful beach?
As I said, the most beautiful beach I could think of is Bass Rock, and then we have Bronx Beach. That's the next beach that I think is nice.
I like the beach near to the whole town because you have rocks, beautiful, in the sea, or reefs, and a lot of colorful fish.
Yes, that's our marine life area.
Okay, let's talk about Barbadian food, since we mentioned that you are a very good cook. What would you recommend us to try?
Well, for sure, macaroni pie, which is what you would call mac and cheese, but we call it macaroni pie.
How does it look?
It's just macaroni with cheese
on the top.
On the top, yes. Then,
how about fish cakes?
Yes, we have my famous fish cakes. You have the fish cakes as well.
How you prepare your famous fish cakes?
The fish cakes are normally made out of flour, codfish, chives, hot peppers, onion, thyme, and basically that's it. You just mix them together and put a little baking powder in it, and you have your famous fish cakes. But the whole idea is the touch of how much you put into it that give the flavor.
And you fried it in a deep oil?
A deep fried oil, yes. And they have cocoon flying fish is another famous dish, which is one that is very good to try. Then you have the traditional rice and peas as well.
And marlin, a fish?
Yes, you have marlin, they have dolphin.
But this is not dolphin as European can think.
No, not dolphin that European thing. It's a regular dolphin, which we call mahi-mahi. You can try that as well.
It's good, but you have to chew it. The meat is different than, for example, marlins.
Yes, but the marlin we have here is not that tough. The dolphin is not tough. It's a light chew, but it is good.
Which rum would you recommend? Because Barbados is famous, and you produce a lot of kinds of rum.
Well, the famous rum for Barbados is not necessarily one particular rum, but you have the same Mount Gay rum, and they have Old Brigham, which is another brand of Barbados rum. So those are the two famous ones that you have that is really good, especially for locals.
What do you have usually for breakfast?
Well, Barbadians normally have for breakfast, normally the traditional way is bakes or the same fish cakes, eggs, bacon, occasionally hot dogs. Normally hot dogs is lunch for other people, but we have hot dogs for breakfast.
What we have sometimes for breakfast in Poland is porridge, and we had porridge here. You made it, and it tasted a bit different than Polish one. We put some fruits, for example, strawberries, and you put something very special because taste was totally different. What was it?
That was bay leaf. There's a bay leaf, a plant that we have, a tree that we have here. You use the bay leaves to make porridge. You use the bay leaf for tea. Also, when you have babies, you use the bay leaf for the babies as well, especially if they have a fever or they're sick. You use the bay leaf. And for adults now, you can use the bay leaf as well for like even heart conditions, cancer problems, and stuff like that.
I wanted to ask about it because we use bay leaf, but when we make pickles or soups or sauces that we serve with meat.
Yes, you do that. We can use the same bay leaf to do all those things as well, but it will be giving you a different flavor or a more punch in the flavor. So it's nice. It will be nice as well.
After the breakfast that we have at your place, we are going to the beach. Do you go to the beach when you have your spare time? What you do?
No, I'm 56 years old right now, and I don't go to the beach.
And before?
Before, we used to go when we were smaller, but I am not a beach person. But the beach is right there, and we have, as you say, we have the best beach. So maybe because I live so close to the beach, it tends me not to want to go to the beach as much because I know it's right there. I can go whenever I want. It's nice.
Have you ever been outside Barbados?
Yes, I've been to New York. I've been to Canada several times. For sure, Trinidad, St. Lucia, Grenada, a lot of different little islands. I try to go as much islands as I can before because I had my kids small, so I always wanted to take them somewhere every year, a little different from other things that people would do. But that's it.
You saw many other islands. Which one is the most beautiful?
The one that I liked the best was Trinidad. I like Trinidad. It's busy like in one of those overseas islands, but it's still a Caribbean island.
I mentioned that you live on Paradise Island, so where do you go for holiday?
I go to Canada for my holiday. Oh, my next trip is to Canada for sure. After that, I would like to go to England, but that is for my own personal, what do we call that? For Well, that's something I have in mind, a dream of mine to go to France for sure. So that's it.
And I'm inviting you to come to Poland.
Well, I would definitely come to Poland now that I have friends. I don't have a problem with coming to Poland. You know, I will, because I would love to see a lot of those places. But the problem with going to those places is you don't know anyone or you don't know the language. So
now you know us and you are inviting to Poland, to visit Poland.
I would definitely come to Poland for sure, especially seeing that I have you all as my friends.
Another thing that I would like to ask, do you know your ancestors?
No, I don't know much about them, but we were doing a family tree, and I found out that my family is from a plantation named Dunscombe Plantation in St. Thomas, and for sure that we were off of some European descent. That much I know so far, but my plan is to do an ancestry.com.
I'm asking about this because I think that most of the Barbadians are descendants of the Africans.
Yes, they are. That's why I'm going to try to find out which descendant I am from, which part of Africa I'm from and stuff like that. I want to find out that for sure.
Are you proud of your country?
I'm very proud of my country.
Why is that?
Because it's Barbados and everyone try to come to Barbados even though they don't know much about it. When they do know about it, they always come back.
What's your dream, Patricia?
I don't know. I have so many dreams that I don't know which dream it would have to be in. But my dream is to be more comfortable in the way I live and see my children grow and my grandchildren even grow even more.
Okay, on the end, I would like to ask you if you could say something in English that you speak to tourists and the same sentence in the Barbadian way, which is a bit different, and for tourists it can be hard to understand sometimes. You agree with me?
Yes. What would that be? Well, there's things that we can teach of tourists about Barbados and the Barbados language, but that is too early to call those words. But other than that, most of the time they try to want to find out about, instead of saying, bring that for me, you say, bring that for me. Or come along, which is come on, come along, which is another one.
You are speaking very fast and you cut parts of the words. Am I right?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Instead of saying that, you say da.
Instead of saying him, you say he.
Yeah, he. There's so many words that we cut.
Which places would you recommend? What tourists have to see on Barbados?
Best places to see in Barbados will be the Rihanna Drive, for sure. Harrison's Cave, the Flower Cave, the River Bay, and East Coast.
Rihanna's Drive is a place where she was born.
Yes, that's where she was born, and they have a monument made there for her as well, so you can pass and see that.
Harrison's Cave, how it looks like.
Harrison Cave is where you have the stalactites and stalagmites. I hope I'm calling it right. Where you go over 25,000 feet below sea level and see the caves and see where the people first came in through the cave and stuff like that. So it's a really good tour that you can go on.
And another cave that you mentioned, the Flower
Cave. It's an animal flower cave, which is, it's just like a part of the sea that is, the water drifts back when the tide is low, and you can go in and see the different little what is it called, that animals and shells and starfish and whatever is in the cave. You can see that.
Okay, and the last thing that I would like to talk about, we put you on Google Map, your restaurant, so let people know what's the name of the restaurant, of the bar.
Well, it's not really a restaurant per se. It is more of a shop, a variety shop. So we have the shop whereby we sell food stuff, dry goods. You sell the alcohol, or you can sell like what I do is like fish and chips, chicken and chips, and the fish cakes for sure, and chicken wings on special days, or if somebody just wants some, you would do that. And like for the visitors, in order to for them to have a taste of what Barbados is like, you normally do something like that as a treat for the visitors so that they would know what the Barbados culture is all about.
Okay, so we put your place on Google Maps, we put some opinions, very good, we put some pictures, so hopefully you will have more customers soon.
I would like that for sure, because I want them to understand and see what Barbados is all about from the local side of it, and so they can see more of the culture and enjoy it.
Could you say something to listeners in Poland?
All I can say to Polish people is to come to Barbados and experience all of this for yourself, because it is a very good venture. You will enjoy your stay here, and is worth every minute of your trip.
Okay, you just heard the first episode of my podcast in English. I would like to remind you that you can support me on Patronite or just buy me coffee virtually. How to do that? All information you can find in the description of this episode on YouTube and on our social media, Facebook and Instagram. You can find links to these pages on the YouTube channel in the banner at the top of the page. Please also subscribe to my channel on this platform, on YouTube. The next episode will be in Polish, but I promise that I will interview also English-speaking guests. See you next Friday. All the best.